Good morning, welcome to Join the Dots. Today's title, New Foundations Required. Gold, XRP, silver. What will it be? It will be some of those, because the present foundations they're shattered. And no more so was this revealed than in a Goldman Sachs warning, which I've got on a link here from Greg Mannarino. Now, remember, please don't let your bias get in the way of seeing the truth and getting the facts and seeing the indicators. A lot of people in this world have been taught that their thought is the only thought that can possibly happen. They've got an enormous bias. And what we see in programs like this is people seeking bias confirmation. They just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear new information. They don't want to hear facts. They just want to hear what they want to hear. Well, that's no good to us, is it? Because it might be wrong. So we need to break that bias confirmation. So I'm going to give you a piece today from Greg Mannarino, who can break any bias confirmation because his knowledge is phenomenal and his passion equals it. And his ability is right up there, because I've never seen him be wrong on a big call. So he sent out this piece linking Goldman Sachs warning. And you remember my piece the other day about silver, and I said it's never been such an opportunity with such low risk and such huge potential reward. The symmetry was all wrong. And here, Goldman talks about an unfriendly asymmetry. In other words, the system is out of whack. More modern term, a lack of balance. There's no balance, there's no foundations. There's no foundations for this stock market to trade at 29, 30 times. There's no foundations. And what we know about foundations, and we find it in all sorts of storms across the world, whether it's a tsunami, whether it's floods, whatever, is if there are no foundations, the building gets washed away. And that will be the same with the economies. If there are no foundations, they'll be washed away in a storm. And this is what we're seeing. So there are some macro signals coming from Goldman Sachs. And they really are disturbed. Now, Goldman's, do I trust Goldman's? Not really. Do I see they're self-serving? Yes, really. So when they say there's a massive problem, are they short? You have to think that nowadays. You really do. Because within a structure like Goldman Sachs, there are many different facets, many different arms working. But at the top, they're looking at one picture. Now, with that collapse, and obviously on Friday, what did we see? What did we see that really, like the previous Friday with the bullshit BLS report, what did we see? We saw the consumer producer prices up 0.9%. Now, I'm not really fascinated by that because I know that tariffs, there's going to be some effect coming through. Not a lot, I don't think, but there's going to be some. But what I find fascinating is that all those masses of economists, banks, Fed, you put all their thoughts together, 0.2. They are useless in a crisis. 9 years out of 10, they'll probably get it near enough right. But when it comes to a crisis, just like '08, they cannot see the wood for the trees. They cannot see it. That's why you need sites like this, people like Greg Mannarino. You need these people. Martin Armstrong, I'm going to introduce you to in just a second. Martin Armstrong has been there for many, many years now, advises governments, tours around the world on politics, on geopolitics, on economy, on economics. And I was ecstatic last night because I watched a Martin Armstrong presentation, which is linked below. Why was I ecstatic? Because for 5 years, when I've been talking about gold to my clients, every single client has told me, oh, Mike, you're wrong about the late 1970s. It was all inflation. I said, it was nothing to do with inflation. All right, there's a bit to do with inflation. I said it was all to do with Afghanistan being invaded by Russia in 79. It was the first time they invaded, 79 or 80, can't remember. Okay, and everyone says, I'm wrong. Mike, you're wrong. Mike, you're wrong. Mike, you're wrong. I was selling gold from a NatWest branch to stockbrokers who wanted gold. Krugerrands they were buying. You couldn't buy gold bullion under the Exchange Control Act of 47. You couldn't buy it. They were screaming for Krugerrands. I was ordering them. It was all about the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, and World War III was put on every single newspaper. World War III. And all the textbooks and all the academics and all the tutors will tell you it was inflation. Martin brilliantly describes it, and how gold moved up from 400 to 875 in, I think it was 4 months. It was all to do with Afghanistan. And yet every textbook you read, every lecturer you talk to, every economics professor you talk to will say it was inflation. So please don't trust what you read until you've checked it in several ways. Now I'm going to link Martin Armstrong's piece to you. A, because I just love what he said. But B, here comes the coincidence. What is he talking about? World War III. He's talking about World War III. And what Martin is seeing is the breakdown between societies, just like in the balkanization of areas, whether that's Thailand and Cambodia, whether it's India and Pakistan, whether it's parts of South America now getting very agitated, parts of Africa are very agitated. When you get an economic storm and there are no foundations, the tribalism comes to the surface. Tribalism. And that's what broke Czech Republic, that's what broke Yugoslavia, that's what broke most of Eastern Europe. Tribalism. And these are foundations that are cracking because of the economics, because of the stresses, because of the geopolitics. It's falling apart. There are no foundations, or no safe foundations. So I'm going to link to you the Goldman Sachs report on that. And I'm going to link to you the Martin Armstrong report. And I mean, it's a long report, but I tell you, it's really worth watching if you're serious about your money. Okay. Now, for those traders, and I've sort of knocked traders as I've done these presentations because I don't trade. Okay. But there was one report, and I'll link it down below, and it's on XRP particularly, and it's called the Bullwinkle Blueprint. And I'll link it down below. And it was quite interesting to listen to them. They're traders essentially, and they have XRP, and they say, what does they say? They say market leadership for XRP. They've never seen fundamentals so strong. It's the leader of the pack. So I want you to watch that, because again, try different angles. Don't stick with one biased view that you can't move from. It's dangerous. Okay, let's open our eyes. Let's use all these people, all these dots. Let's join them. Join the dots. Find the truth, join the dots, and get a clearer picture of what's happening. Market foundations, there are none. Goldman Sachs extremely worried. Are they talking their book? Maybe. Martin Armstrong, World War III is coming in 26. That's what his computer tells him, and his computer's pretty good. World War III is coming in 26 because of a breakdown in all regions of the world, not just one, not two, not three, 7, 8, 9, 10 regions are breaking down because of the economic stresses and the geopolitical stresses. Okay, so everything is in those reports. I think there's trading, there's XRP, there's gold in the Martin Armstrong one, there's Goldman Sachs talking about the market, stock markets. Please share these videos, because we want everyone to have the chance to see these things, not just read what they read in the paper and believe it. Okay? I proved today with Martin Armstrong finding that link to Afghanistan and Russia. It's not even in the textbooks, it's not even in the lectures. It's untrue. It was all about Russia invading Afghanistan. So please share, like, subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Join the Dots.